Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pole Obsession. We have a really exciting guests on today and an exciting episode for you because we're talking to some past competitors of the Australian Pole Championships competition. I'm going to pass you on to my beautiful co-host, Elle, and here you go.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening again. So we're talking to some previous professionals and amateurs, and I'm not sure, we might have a group person too. Don't you do group? Maybe. So, and battle. I know that Chelle's done battle before. So we've got like pretty much all divisions covered. So we're going to go through and they're just going to introduce themselves really quick and let you know who they are, what state they're from, what division they've competed in, and any titles that they may have won. So we might start with Chelle, who's got probably the longest list.
I'm Chelle, and I've been pole dancing for a long time. And last year I competed at Australian Pole Championships and I got the Trickster Award and the Inspire Award. And I've competed a fair few times as well. I've gotten second place and first place at Queensland a couple of times. And Nationals, I got third place in 2019, which was fun. And a whole stack of other awards as well that I can't remember. Don't ask me to remember.
Battle, Trickster.
Battle, yeah. All those.
Lots
I usually just put them down in a list and then just forget about it.
You need
until next time someone asks me.
Trophies. Take a photo of your trophies. You need to take a photo of your trophies. Send it to me so I can pop it up when you're telling us about this.
Yes.
Thank you. And this is Robyn. So tell us about who you are, Robyn.
Hi, I'm Robyn. I've been competing in APC since 2022, I believe was my first one for ACT. I've been an amateur every year. I've been so close to placing, just a little bit off. But I did get People's Choice last year.
Yeah, very exciting. And you've also helped with the APC organisational side of it as well.
Yes. So 2023, I believe, I was up in Queensland helping at Nationals. And I've helped at a few state heats as well here and there.
Yeah, so behind the scenes, not just as a competitor. Who knows which one's more chaotic, right?
I do.
It's crazy. Regardless, it's crazy.
And welcome, Nicole. Tell us your little dark self sitting in your car. We can slightly see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's my peaceful place away from studio and kids.
Amen.
So, yeah. Well, I can't remember. I think 2017 was my first QPC. Or 2016.
Was that the Madonna year?
Madonna was 2018, and then I think, so it must have been 2017 was my first year. Yeah, okay. And I got Sponsors Choice. I did Black Cat, so the one where I was a cat.
Yeah.
I think that was 2017. So I was QPC Sponsors Choice, and then I got a wild card to APC. So that was my very first APC. Wow. And then the next year I got runner-up when I did Madonna. And so then did APC that year as well. And then, I did QPC up until, lockdown when people didn't do them. So, but because I got pregnant and had a baby. So then, I had a baby in 2022. And then I came back and won Queensland Pole Champs in 2023. So, and then got Best Technique at APC 2023. Then got pregnant again, so ran QPC. So, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I think just people maybe don't all know that you run the Queensland Pole Championships as well. So
yeah. So I ran a few Queensland events up here, and I took on QPC last year, and I've emceed various state heats and APC when it was down in Vic still. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been involved with it for a while, since 2017. There you go.
Yeah, that's a long time actually when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm Bea. and I've been competing for the last 5 years. I'm Victorian, and I first competed with the Victorian Pole Championships in 2023 in the amateur division, where I was really lucky to get second place. From there, I got wild carded to nationals. So it was my first nationals in the amateur division, and I got third. The following year, I competed at professional level, and I actually came first at the Victorian Pole Championships, where I then went on to nationals again, and I actually got third against all the most amazing pole dancers, and it was just such an honor. And my first professional APC got third.
That was last year, which is amazing.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, so you are a current title holder.
Current title holder, yeah.
Very exciting. Thank you. And then we're going to move on to Buki. Buki, let us know about yourself.
Hello, I am Buki. I am a Victorian as well. Last year in 2024 was actually my first ever time at competing in, Australian Pole Championships. So I did the Victorian Pole Championships. I was awarded People's Choice Award, which was super fun. I was super surprised by that and super thankful. And then I got to compete for the first time also in the Australian Pole Championships in Tasmania, and that was an amazing experience, and I was very, very thankful to be a part of it.
And were you just as thankful that now you're professional?
It's questionable. It's questionable. No, but look, I guess that's the ultimate goal, is you want to keep moving up, and it had to happen at some stage, and I want that to happen. And I think it's just a good chance for me to push myself even harder this year. So
yeah, I'm excited that you're doing it this year.
Very
good.
I'm going to ask the question, and then whoever jumps in first can have it. I'm going to...
It's like a special buzzer. Got to get the buzzer.
Yeah. You have to make noises. Everybody can choose their noise, and the noise I hear first.
That's dangerous.
So, right. The question is, what made you decide to enter APC? And was there a moment where you just said to yourself, okay, yes, I'm doing this. I'm all in. I'm going to do this.
Well, I'll go because I love this question so much. So basically, I was a pole bunkie in 2019, and I had never competed in any comp before, and I was just absolutely obsessed. I didn't actually even know at the time that it was the national comp. I just thought it was a Victorian comp, and it was actually the nationals. And it was just so amazing. I was just a pole monkey. I was just asking all the competitors, oh, how would you like your poles cleaned? And I just made sure that they were all perfect. But I was just mesmerized, honestly. I had only really just started advanced classes, and I was just determined to get on that stage one day. And then fast forward to 2023, I finally got there and finally competed and then actually placed. So it was basically like, thank you to Bethany Finlay, Natty Stevens, Mel Grace. I believe that, they were all in that year. And that was me falling in love with competing. It was that.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing to watch. Like, all of you guys are, though.
Yeah, and now you're that person, to somebody else. How cool is that?
It's still so weird to me to think.
But you are that person now, which is cool.
Yeah, all the little pole monkeys getting inspired. I love it.
Yeah, and I remember seeing you when you did start to compete, and I'm like, well, I call them kittens. I said, you're a pole kitten for us, and you're competing now, and you're like, yeah, I've been watching it, and I'm ready now, Elle. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready. I've worked my ass off. Let's go.
I'm like, oh, you are ready, all right.
I emceed that one, and I was like, I loved watching you.
You're amazing. All right, so I'm going to move on to my next question, and I might ask you, Nicole, what's the best thing about competing?
For me, it's being on stage, but because I love the opportunity to be up there and Well, one, I guess a lot of times, like, we all love pole so much, but you don't always get to express it to someone else, like on stage, like the hard work that you actually do, and let people see the hard work you do. So,
Yeah.
but I also, I guess I started competing before the massive rise of social media as well. So when everyone can sort of show on social media what you can do. But I just love being on stage, and I think competing is great for that opportunity as well. Like, just to well, yeah, like, put all your hard-earned work, I guess, to use, because otherwise, I know for some people it is just something to a hobby, but like, if you want to see somewhere where it can go, and like you can, be on stage and then obviously be recognized, but then also take the opportunity that will then see if you want to pursue it as something more than that. Like, competing gives you that avenue as well. So I think I don't know, I'm not really making sense right now, I know that.
No,
But
no,
I
it's
think competing is a really good stepping stone for people that want to make pole their career as well. Like, it's you can do it. For me, it's the love of being on stage, but I know for someone like people, it's also, letting people out there see what you can do as well. And yeah, like, competing is fun. I think it's fun. I know not everyone thinks it's fun. I know that some people, my students, some of them where I'm like, compete, they're like, and I'm like, no, it's fun. And you go through, like, everyone sort of says the process, which is they're like, oh, I can do this, I'm crap, I can't do this. And then all of a sudden you get on stage, you're like, I can do this, I'm amazing. And you get off and you're like, I am amazing. Like, yay me for doing this, like, because I am amazing. But yeah, I think I just love the opportunity to show people what I can do. And also being able to express your own style, I think that's nice too. Like, do what you want to be, not always having to be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did that really answer the question?
No, it's a great answer, and I think you're 100% right. You're able to express your own style, and I think that's one really great thing about APC is we love all different styles. So
Yeah.
whatever type of dancer you are, get out there and just do whatever style you like. So I think that brings originality and difference, and you're able to be yourself on the stage. So I think it's really important to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one year I was a cat, the next I was Madonna, and then I did a really slow emotional piece. So you can
very contemporary.
totally mix it up. Yeah.
No.
Well, what you said was so important because you touched on if you want to be a professional pole dancer, like how you can get yourself out there by presenting yourselves on these stages, but also for those of us who love performing and don't have a job full-time performing, which is the majority of pole dancers, I would say. That's like a couple of people that might have a full-time pole dancing gig, but the majority of us don't. So it does give us that opportunity to express ourselves, to get on stage, to push ourselves, to show, to do all of those things. It gives you so many opportunities, and I think so many positive things come from it. And yeah, I do think it's a great opportunity for lots of different outcomes. So I was inspired by what you said. Describe the moment you stepped out on stage. Like, what were you feeling? What were your emotions?
I don't know if anyone else sort of experiences this when they step on stage, and I feel like I can't actually say it out loud because I feel like you're behind the curtain and you're about to walk out, and it's like this whole like comes over you, and you're just like, I'm on. But to be honest, stepping onto the VPC stage for the first time, I was like, don't trip. That was probably my initial first thought. But it's like something completely takes over, and you just have this desire to want to entertain. That's probably the first thing that comes into my mind is like, I'm here to put on a show. I'm here to entertain. And that's exactly how I feel and how I go out there and express myself. So, yeah.
Was it different on the VPC stage to the APC stage?
I will say yes. I think that I am someone that I love to be around people that support me. Not saying that, when you're on a bigger stage and you're not home, so VPC would probably be more home for me, that I felt like I had a huge support network around me. So going out to APC, I felt a little bit more nervous for sure, because stepping out, I was like, oh, I know I've got people back home that will love to watch me, but I'm like, am I going to have the same feeling stepping out here? So I was probably way more nervous, especially obviously being a national comp. But I was definitely more nervous because I'm like, are these people going to love me? Like, of course, I'm there to perform for judges as well, and stepping out. But once I did the first thing, I was like, oh, I'm so loved. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, people are entertained, they're cheering. So yeah, no, it did have initial first feeling, but as soon as, you get straight into it and you're whipping out those tricks or you're just even doing a quick little head flick, yeah, you get the loves pretty quickly.
Yeah, the audience is usually pretty amazing at state and national. I think the big thing with state is you're bringing your crowd. So you know that they're going to be screaming and cheering for you. When you're going to nationals, if it's in a different state, you still bring people, but you can only bring so many people. Yeah, not everyone wants to travel interstate to watch you, surprisingly. I don't know why they don't.
Yeah, exactly it. Yeah.
What did APC teach you about yourself, both as a dancer and a person, Robyn?
Actually, a hard question for me.
It was very mean of you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I guess the first time I did APC, I was not in the mindset to do it. I was doing a pageant the same year. 2 weeks later was my first comp. So I literally whipped something together, showed Elle, was like, that's what you get. That's what we're doing. But then from there, like, because I knew I could do it, I've done my first comp, I've gotten the first nerves out, I could do a lot better the next year. So it made me realize I could challenge myself a lot more than I was doing. And I progressed a lot in my strength, not so much my flexibility, but my strength quite a bit. And then I did a lot better that year. And that was an ACT New South Wales combined state heat. Still so close to placing, so close. And then from there as well, because then I helped at nationals watching everyone, it didn't bring me down knowing I was so close, yet like I didn't place. It pretty much just inspired me more, where I could see little things where it was something in my style or something that was actually achievable. And then I guess it put me more in a mindset where I'd want to train more by myself, which is something I'd never do before. Like I'd have to be with someone else to be motivated. But now I can just go into my pole room, do what I need and train, and actually get excited for comp.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Yes. I want to do a comp now. That was great.
You should do a comp again.
I know what you can do, mate.
Do you? Which one?
Battle. Battle.
I'm doing battle.
Battle with Chelle.
I'm doing battle with Chelle. Thank you very much.
Yeah, come do QPC.
You know what? I have to come somewhere else because WA never wants to do it. Nobody enters battle, so I can never do it because nobody's in there. I'm just me by myself wooing my own self. So I'll come somewhere else and do battle. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I'll do all of them.
Yeah.
I'll be the battle girl. Did you surprise yourself with what you were able to achieve throughout the process of like comp training and competing?
Yeah, especially I guess with after having kids. I was always like, I can do it, and then I commit to it, and I'm like, what have I done? And then I just have to keep myself going, and that was I guess I could pat myself in the back and be like, oh, I actually did it. But every single time that I do a competition, I grow a little bit as a person, as a performer. And I love being on stage. Same as Nicole, I love being on stage. And it's like I commit to a comp and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Now we have to do all this training, which is less fun. And then I get to stage, I'm like, this is why I do it. This is why I do it. I guess I surprise myself. I try to do different stuff sometimes, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then I feel like it grows, like a little bit of it leaves its imprint on me as a performer, and then I grow from that. And so that's nice, being able to look back on where I came from to where I am now is great.
Yeah, you've done a lot. You've done also pretty much all divisions. Did you ever do amateur, or did you go straight to pro?
I went straight to pro. I started pole dancing in 2009, And there was a competition that was running then that isn't around now. It's the Asia Pacific Pole Championships.
Yeah.
And I competed at that national comp because it was national. There was no state divisions at that point. I got first place at that comp 9 months after I started pole dancing, and then I was stuck in pro for the whole rest of the time. But
That's what you get for being too good, Chelle.
Sorry?
That's what you get for being too good.
Well, there was no other comps around at that point. It's like you're pro or you don't compete.
Yeah, that's true. There was only that one in MPD, right?
Yeah, there was Miss Pole and yeah, Asia Pacific Pole Champs, yeah.
Yeah, and then we came in and
yeah,
and that's it. And they I think stopped the year that we came in. But so what's the difference? What do you find the difference with comp prep between when you're doing a doubles or battle or pro?
Doubles, I don't have to focus as much on cardio, so I don't have to, do the regime of making sure I train a certain amount of time so that I build up the stamina for my routine, so I'm not dying by the end of it. It's more just focusing on cleaning up the skills and then sequencing what skills I want to do. Doubles is just hilarious the whole time. I love doing doubles. It is such a fun thing to do, but it's very time consuming. It's hard trying to get two people doing a routine and stuff like that. And then, doing the normal solo pro is physically exhausting, but also you can just completely tap into what you want to do. And so there's more self-expression through that one. So
yeah. What would you pick if you could only compete in one forever?
Pro.
Yeah, I knew you'd say pro. You guys are all like, it's the hardest, but I do it. That's the one.
What does everybody else say? I want everybody else's chime in.
Into that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was just about to say, okay, Chelle, let's do doubles, but
Yes, Nicole.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And you actually
I take that back now.
yeah.
but you can't really do Queensland, guys. Bad news.
We'll come somewhere else.
We'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'd love to see that.
We do it as an excuse just to see each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Bring the babies.
Yeah.
That's it.
Can we make it groups and include the babies?
And
that's it.
She has babies.
Stay up the pole and have them run around on the floor underneath us trying to catch us.
You can take my babies. I'll just give you the babies.
Yeah.
Chelle, you touched on like the types of training that you do for the different divisions, with having to include a lot more cardio than in pros solo than in, say, a group division. So I wanted to sort of put the question to the group, like when you structure your training regime, how does that look? Like if I had to if you could give just a summary to someone who's maybe never done any comp training or prep before, like what do those weeks leading up to the date look like, and what types of training do you do? Do you cross train? Do you focus on strength? Do you focus on, and when have you finished your choreography? So just, I guess, the timeline and what those sort of that comp training really looks like for you. Yeah, so whoever's got a good concise answer first can go.
I could say that I'd say definitely a month out for myself, I have to have my routine solid and done. So I'm doing at least, when I'm getting in for a training session, I can get 3 run-throughs done. Usually the first one, terrible, second one's pretty on point, and the last one's you're just building your endurance by that point. But I have tried to incorporate with my training that when I'm at that stage, as soon as you finish, grab a skipping rope, start skipping, and really try and keep that endurance going so you can really focus on your breath. Because there's nothing worse than when you get on stage, you've got all this adrenaline and you're pumping through, but your adrenaline is taking over and you haven't got any breath to just like calm your a little bit. So that has really, really helped for myself, is just, do a run through, grab a skipping rope and skip for a minute straight afterwards. It's not easy. I suck at that, but it has definitely helped with my endurance. So yeah, that's a little training tip that I've been doing.
That's a great tip.
I'm the complete opposite. Oh, sorry.
Oh, are you? You're the complete
No, you go,
opposite?
B. You go.
Mine's pretty similar, like, but I like to have 6 weeks out that it's all done. And then I'm just polishing. But I don't mind if even at 6 weeks I can't do it perfectly. Like, but I definitely need to be able to do it perfectly 2-3 weeks beforehand. But at 6 weeks beforehand, the routine is done. Like, I don't do any changes, no choreography changes, nothing like that. Like, 6 weeks, I have exactly what I want. So prior to that, I'm thinking about combos and all that stuff, writing everything down that I must have in it. And then 6 weeks out, the routine is done. And then just working on polishing. I try to do 2 run throughs in every training session, and they mostly focus on getting through the routine. So if I'm starting to struggle, I won't stop the music and redo it, because I think if on the day I was really struggling, I have to keep going. Like, I don't have a choice. So I've never, even with the worst run I could possibly imagine, I've never stopped the music. And even if I was slipping all the way down, I just keep going. And then, like, 4 weeks out, that should start to improve. But even if it's not, I just try to stay as positive as possible. Like, I've still got 4 weeks, instead of feeling like, oh my God, I've only got 4 weeks. I'm like, I've still got 4 weeks. It'll be okay. So I try to start, that's when I start to really change my like mindset. I'm starting to like really get into and dive into like my nutrition and like better sleep, better hydration. And I'm actually prepping my skin for 4 weeks out. So I like cut out oils, I cut out greasy foods, even like extra salts, anything that could possibly make my skin slippy on the day. That the week before, I eat pretty much the exact same foods the whole time. I won't even run the routine 3 to 5 days before the comp. And I just watch my video. I'll watch the best run video so that I'm not psyching myself out. So if I have a terrible run, I don't watch it ever again. It happened, but it's fine. I just try to stay positive. I rewatch the good one and I just watch it to remember, but not to critique too much, because I've just got to stay positive. And then I get to the day and I have the same nutrition like food. I'm very strict on that. And I've always found that's been the best way, that if I'm just always thinking about how excited I am to get on the stage and just positive vibes all the way through, I end up doing the best run on the day.
Wow, what an answer.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm just very, very disciplined. Very disciplined.
You reminded me just then of Naomi Capelli, because she's exactly the same. You and her, everything, the nutrition, the way she trains, everything. But she trains closer to comp than what you would, though. But yeah, very similar and all of that sort of stuff, which blows my mind that you guys are that deep, like that's a lot.
Yeah, guys, just get a skipping rope. Just get a skipping rope. Skipping rope. Calmer though. It does make me calmer.
Still eating fish.
That is incredible. What discipline you have. That's awesome. I'm actually going to take a lot of those things that you've said and like literally run down. Thank you. Awesome. I've actually learned a lot, like from my very first comp. I was running it like 3-4 times the day before. And I've just learnt so much. Like, one of those other questions you asked Felix, like Al, what have you learnt from all your comping? I think the most I can take away is the prep. I've learnt and adapted my prep so much that now this 6 weeks out, like mental health, like planning, like nutrition, all that stuff that I have developed has been basically since the start of my first VPC. But every comp before that was just a learning curve. Just learned after every time. I was like, yep, I didn't do a great run because XYZ. Let's cut that out. Let's restart. Let's do something else. And this has been the best. But I've learned every time. Yeah.
Give you guys a heart attack.
Go on.
We want to hear it.
I choreograph in my car on long drives. It's always the best time when routines come to me, is when I'm driving a long way, which is not good. I do not condone that to anyone because you should be concentrating on the road. And I'm one of those people that will change my routine the night before.
Yeah.
I have a heart attack.
Yeah, that would give me a heart attack.
Yeah.
My heart is
And
attacking.
like it's something if I'm like, oh, I think it's from, and I don't know how much I'm an organized chaos person. And I've always just been that kind of person in life. Like if I'm too prepared too early, I feel like stuff just, it won't, I won't enjoy it. But yeah, I jam pack my life full of lots of stuff. So for me, I'm like, yeah, night before. And I've found that when I have traveled for comps and not trained the day before, I don't do as well. I do better when I do train the night before. I think for me mentally, I have to do a run through the night before to just go yay or nay, because then I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, then you know what you have to do the next day. Or if it does work, I'm like, okay, yeah, that works for me for the next day. And I know so many people that are like a week out, they're like, oh, thank God I had my routine all done and it was fine. I was sick and then I could still do it. I'm like, oh, I would die. If I didn't have that last week to train, I'm up shit creek without a paddle. Oh, sorry, y'all, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
It's fine.
But I think that's how I kind of, because I love the performance side, it's how I keep the performance so genuine and like enjoyment on stage, is because I'm sort of, I'm just not an over prepared person. That's why I'm good at running comps. I can do things last minute really well. If you ever need something last minute, I'm your gal. Yeah.
Amazing. What a great answer compared to bees as well, right? Like,
yeah, I'm
so
the complete
different.
opposite.
yeah.
I remember one comp I did, I had a cheesy might scroll on the way to the comp and I did really well that comp. So now I'm like, I just need carbs. Just give me the carbs before the comp and I'll be fine.
B would be like hyperventilating. I find
I'd be like, oh my God.
bag, breathing in and out.
I mean, it's definitely a spectrum, isn't it? Same thing doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
So just quietly, I'm definitely more of a under prepper than an over prepper.
But what about back then in the day when you were doing MPD? You trained hard.
Did I?
Wow, we hope so, because otherwise it's so unfair.
No, I trained a lot because I was doing a lot of teaching, a lot of performing, but I did not do a lot of pole prep. Majority of my performances are all improvised. So I didn't even choreograph them. Oh. Yeah.
Guys.
But I'm good at I'm not as good at choreographing as I am at improvising. So that's why, you play to your strengths. I'm not gonna, because I get more stressed if I have to remember things than if I don't.
Yeah. And you know that you've got to put in the things that you're really good at, and
I have a rough idea of where I'm going to put something. So yeah, if it's a big bit of the music, the spatchcock's going to go there. If there's another big bit, I'll put the eagle there, and then everything else is just rolling around, recovering.
So when it comes to comp prep, the first thing I have to do as soon as I've agreed to do a comp, I need to have a song. If I don't have a song, it's not happening. Like I'm putting it off until I have a song, even if it's like a few weeks out. So I need a song. In terms of training, I do cross train. So strength in the gym, Pilates. This year, I've been putting in some more cardio to help with my endurance. Definitely not skipping after doing a run through. I would die. But just general like running, stepper machine. I hate the stepper machine, but it's so good for you. In terms of actual pole training, I'll do it in the afternoon. So I'm not too tired from the morning because I'll generally do my other training then, have my work day, come home, do some training. I'll try and split it up. So I'm not doing too much and I'm not fatiguing my body, because you want to make sure you actually recover, you don't injure yourself as well. So there'll be days where I'm just doing spin tricks, or I'm just doing static, or I'm just doing choreo. I probably wouldn't train more than 4 days a week for pole until it gets really close to comp. I will aim is a very general term, to have my routine ready a month out. So then I have a little bit of leeway to do it. And then I'll aim for like 2 to 3 run throughs as well. And then the week of comp, I won't do any training for at least a day or two beforehand.
Same. I have to start with a song. I need to be inspired, so I need music. And then once I find the song, it starts choreographing itself in my head. And then I'm Nicole, and I'm driving around picking the kids up from school, choreographing routines in my head. I know I shouldn't do it either, but I do. Or maybe it's I don't have any other quiet time. I start choreographing it to the music in my head, and I find that things just start happening. It just like it takes a life of its own. I definitely ideally like to start the physical training a few months out from the competition, even if it's just starting to put combos together and to fit things into the music where I want it to be. I prefer to train in the mid to late afternoon, but the reality is I just got to train wherever I can get a piece of time, and sometimes that's at 9:30 in the morning before I teach class, or sometimes it's at 9 o'clock at night after I teach class. I gotta have my routine solidified a month before the competition, so then I can just focus on polishing it or taking out the little bits that don't quite work the way I want it to, really kind of troubleshooting it there. I like to do a minimum of 3 run-through sessions a week. And I usually stupidly make my routine so hard that I can't do more than 1 run through in each session. Or if I do, it's like, okay, so we're doing this half of the routine because that's all my second wind stamina will allow me to have. I don't do any other cross training because my ACLs on both knees are kind of not really there. So for me, my pole dance routine is my cardio. So I just got to take more time to make sure I rest and recover and stretch and trigger point so that I don't get worn out and, repeating the same thing over and over. Nutrition is everything. So eating healthy, eating clean. 1 month out from comp, I won't touch alcohol, or I will restrain myself from eating excessive amounts of ice cream or chocolate. So I eat really healthy and I stay away from alcohol and try to get extra sleep. I never do a run through the day before my comp, unless the last run through I did 2 days before was a disaster. And then I'll do another one, but I prefer not to. And on the day of the comp, I never do a full run through on stage because I don't want to eat into my energy reserves for actually performing that night. Because so many times I've made the mistake of doing a full run through, and it was amazing, only to then not to be fresh enough to do it properly when it comes to it on the night. So that's what I've worked out for myself.
I've noticed that with yours, like you never ever do a full run. You'll just do bits, or you'll do a bit.
I'll do bits, like if I'm worried about not fitting around the truss, I'll do that bit to check my space and to check how the floor feels or the spin of the pole, but I'll never do a full run through, no.
Yeah. So and only pros are the ones that never do a full run through. Amateurs always do a full run.
Yeah, because they got to do it for their mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Battle always do a full run. Group don't, and pros don't. So that's interesting, isn't it?
Can I just say, I've been sort of watching us a little bit, and there's been 2 points in time where we've all nodded, like in agreement, like nodded so hard. The first one was Chelle, when you said there was like sometimes in training where you just like, it's a real grind and you're just pushing through and just pushing through and just pushing through. But at the end of it, it's worth it. And we all like, there's this moment.
That's like childbirth, as well. Like pregnancy and then childbirth, you have a child and then you forget about it and you get pregnant again. Like, what have I done?
First freaking cramp you get when you go into labor and you're like, what have I done? And the second one was when Robyn said stair machine. We all were like, oh yeah, it's horrible. It's really horrible. Yeah. It's horrible. So we feel really strongly about those 2 things.
Body language, guys. We're reading it.
Little bobbleheads were like, yes. Agree.
I will say with Chelle, I totally agree with you on the alcohol thing. That is one thing majorly that I completely cut out. It is huge what alcohol can do to your body your skin
Just
type, your mental
one
state.
drink is enough to make you depleted in your muscles the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just takes all your energy. And absolutely, I cut out alcohol basically from the moment I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I
Like,
I probably would
my
too, but
bloody
I have
20s.
3 kids, so I'm not that strict.
that's fair. That's fair. I don't have kids yet.
Too much stress.
Right? I don't drink, and so well, I used to when I was younger, but I don't anymore at all. But it's incredible. Yeah, I think the toll that it takes on your body, I don't think people realize how long it takes to recover, and also the cumulative effects of it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And when I say a drink, I don't drink that much at all, but I can tell one drink makes a lot of difference.
yeah. But I think when you
just one drink,
when you notice it the most, like if I have a drink now because I haven't drunk for years, I'm like, oh, like poison, take it away. And I used to drink like a fish because I thought it was cool. Yeah.
I would like to ask you all of you this question, because I think this is really interesting, this question. Is there a piece of feedback from a judge or a fellow competitor that has really stuck with you? So whoever wants to answer first.
I've got an answer straight up in my head. It was actually something Susie Q said to me like years ago. It was before I had Madison, so it would have been before 2012. I was notorious, like, coming from a gymnastics background, I would always be like trick, 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 trick. And it was her advice was it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And that didn't fully understand it at the time, but it's taken me forever to realize that it's kind of everything.
Is there anybody that doesn't actually look at their feedback?
A lot of people don't. Yeah, most people don't look at their feedback. Most people don't ask for their feedback. Most people don't ask for their scores. We only give out scores, and we very rarely give out feedback, to be fair, because when you've got 40 competitors on stage, judges don't have time to write feedback, so it's rare that we have any. But when it comes to scores, most people do not ask for their scores, and we don't send them out for the chance that they don't want to know what they are. So like if they, do well, most people don't want to know that. So yeah, a lot of people do not want to know.
I feel that way. I'll be honest. I'm not someone that will read my feedback or ask for scores or anything. Or sometimes I haven't even watched my performance because I'm so satisfied sometimes of how I've brought out on stage and done something for myself and what I've trained for. Might be a bit naive and I don't want to hear anything negative about it because I'm happy with how I did, and that's good enough for me. But then if I have been super satisfied, sometimes I have looked at them and then gone, all right, sick, I'm going to improve on this, I'm really going to focus on that. But I'll be honest, it's taking me to get to a certain point to actually get to myself to read my own comments and things like that, because I was too scared, especially when I first started out as competing. I was terrified. I didn't want to hear anything negative. Like I was like, just a baby polar. I didn't want to hear that my toes weren't pointed. I know I don't have the greatest feet, but and then over time I have gotten better. I think I viewed one of my comps that I was really satisfied last year with that I read, but there's been many performances that I was like, nope, I was happy with how it was, and I'm going to leave it with that. Just for my own mental health, that's how I felt, and I didn't want it to hinder, anything else. So yeah, that's just sort of my feedback when it comes to asking for my scorings or, what the judges have said. So, or I have actually gone and spoken to a judge personally and just said, hey, can I just get how it's a bit nicer when you actually go and speak to someone about it rather than reading it on a bit of paper and you're like, oh, same trick 3 times. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of our episode with past and present Australian Pole Championships competitors. If you're thinking of entering the Australian Pole Championships, entries close this Monday, the 21st of April, and we would love to see your entries for the state heats. We are looking for entries for professional, amateur, group and battle. So this is your sign to get your entries in, and we will talk to you soon.